Hey guys, welcome back to Mac Customs. So today we are going to process the meat birds. We probably would have did it over the weekend, but it was really hot. So we waited till today. It's overcast, a little bit of mist in the air even. So a good day for that. Yeah, so we're going to show you the kind of the start to finish process. We're going to show you about our setup as well. I think a lot of getting it done efficiently is having a good setup, having everything you need there. So yeah, we're just going to take you up and show you what's going on. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the setup here. So right here, I guess you'd call these like the kill chutes. Just pylons. They're just attached to a pallet. We put a piece of wood in there just to push it out a little. So the idea with these is you're going to cut the pylons to make the hole a little bit bigger. When the chickens drop in, it's going to hold them there. They're kind of relaxed actually when you go to cut them. Make sure you have a few buckets on hand. You're going to need them at a couple of different stations, if you will. So these will catch the blood and the dripping in that. Save that. It's really good for the garden. Basically with the cleanup too here, it's pretty good because everything can be composted or used in the garden or used somewhere else. Once they're cut, you're going to come over to dip them. We are using our homemade rocket stove to heat up a big pot. Make sure you have a big pot. You may be using propane or whatever. That's up to you. So for us to make sure this is ready, we have just a good supply of very small wood there. Keep a thermometer on hand. You definitely do want to keep checking the water. 145 is what we find is the best, but you don't want to end up cooking them. And you don't want them not hot enough because it's going to make the plucking really hard. Keep the water going because you're going to change it a couple of times. It will get dirty when you're dipping them, and it will drop in temperature after each bird. So just keep checking it before you go into the next one. This here is new to us. Last year we plucked them by hand. So the plucking station this year is now a plucker for us. So I'm pretty excited to actually use this. Just basically we're going to duck it in. If you do have to pluck them by hand, I can say it's not great, but it wasn't terrible. As long as the temperature was right, they plucked pretty good. But we're hoping to cut the time way down with this. Another thing here too is this is a homemade plucker. It's pretty cool. I think we'd like to design one very similar ourselves. It has a hole here so that the feathers should come down. So we just put a basket here. Same thing. Hang on to those, put them in your compost. Yeah, so we'll probably do another video of actually possibly making one of these. Water too. Regardless of how you're going to be plucking them, you will need water. You'll have to be spraying them a lot and to clean down the feathers. So we have the hose set up and ready. And after they are plucked, we got the picnic table set up here. I just put a shower curtain. Just put something down to easy cleanup. Here I will end up plucking a little bit more, just to, I don't think that's going to get them all. Tidying them up a little bit, and then next will be actually getting the guts and everything out. So make sure you have a really sharp knife, whatever you choose. Keep sharpening stuff with you. You will have to sharpen the knives. They will go down fairly fast. What would you say? Like
every couple seconds, for sure.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier if you just keep them sharpened. Same thing with the pot. Every few chickens, dump the water out, put it right in the garden. Dump it, get fresh stuff. It just makes it a lot easier. Grab yourself some gloves too. I'm probably going to grab some just rubber disposable gloves. That they're good for when you're dumping the chickens and stuff. Even just grabbing them out of the coop there. Yeah, so that's basically our setup. Now the next step too, once they're butchered, you're going to clean all the guts and everything out. Another bucket, whatever you want to use, just dump everything in. Again, it's great because you'll just kind of recycle that. And then next we have a freezer over by the shop there, got some ice, grabbed some eggs of ice this morning for it. Once you finish, you're going to put them in ice, leave them overnight. what was it, sir?
Ice and water.
Yeah, ice and water, yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna get all the chickens done, fill them, put the ice in there, get them packed in, and then just use the hose and add the water. Yeah, that's basically the setup. Of course, it'll vary to accommodate you. One thing to keep in mind too is we're processing about a dozen chickens. So, you know, you may need to scale it to if you're doing a lot of them. But yeah, that's just kind of the assembly line there, if you will. So we're just going to start processing the chickens then. So this part every year I kind of have a hard time with. We do treat them sort of like pets, even though we know what's going to happen. But it does get easier, and you have to remember you treated them well. They had a really good life. One bad day, but they're not going to remember it. He's going to grab them. I'm just going to close this because we don't want any of them getting out and eating anything, because it makes it really hard to gut. And then the chutes here, so you can see when they're upside down, they're pretty docile. Just jam them in. You may have to work the heads out. Some of them, eventually they will slip down. This is where you want the gloves too, because they might bite. It's happened before. In the video, so leave them for a couple, even a minute or so. Yeah. They'll drop down. They'll kind of, I guess the blood will start kind of rushing to them too. What I'm going to do in the meantime there, and we do 2 at a time. Like I said, you can scale it bigger or smaller if you only have 1 comb. I find the cones do work really good. So you can see this one is starting to come down a bit. In the meantime, I'm just going to grab the thermometer and I'm going to check what the temperature is. He's going to keep putting some wood in there. These stoves, I mean, they do need a little bit of attention, but you're here anyway. So we're just going to check the temperature here. 150 we're going to do. I think that's what we decided actually works a little bit better. It's fogging up there. So we're a little bit over the 150 there. Not too much. And I mean, you'll always have your water, or yeah, you'll have your cold water there. So we're not actually going to cut them on camera. This guy he's just going to show you the spots where you want to.
You want to feel the back of his jaw right there. You want to make a clean, sharp cut right your knife against the back of his jaw.
Okay, so I'm gonna let him do that. So I just want to let you guys know the next thing I am going to show you is going to be a little bit graphic. I'm going to show you what it looks like once their throats are cut. You might be able to hear me. They will, don't get freaked out. They will flap around a little, but that's the idea of the cone. They can't move around, they can't get out of it, it contains them. Yeah, so like I said, just be a little prepared if you're not ready. I'm going to show you exactly what you're up against. So we have them cut. The heads are off. It's in the buckets. Now, of course, not all the blood is going to get in the bucket, so have a spot where you can clean it pretty easy. So as you can see, there's no more movement or anything. They flapped around, they did their thing. So the next part is getting them dunked.
I'm going to fire up the plucker now, just so if you want to dunk them, I can huck them in.
Yep, sounds good. Grab them by the feet, duck them right in. Doesn't take a whole lot. The best way to check is you grab the wings or the feathers by their wings, and if they come out relatively easy, which that did not, you want to keep dipping a little bit more. Just keep dipping. You can see now they're starting to, some of them are coming off. gonna give the plucker a try. That is so much better than by hand. Yeah, so that is quite a bit better. Kind of takes some of the guts and stuff out too, right? That is amazing. That basically cleans that. Alright, I'm just gonna get the couple, the very few little ones that are left. Oh, that is so much better than doing them by hand. Last year it took probably 10-15 minutes before. Like splash here. Alright, so I'm just gonna move this down where he can. So I absolutely can confirm that we will definitely be building one of these. One thing too I should have mentioned with the setup is we have a bucket covering the motor of the plucker there, just so when you're spraying the water in that it's not taking on too much water. Yeah, this one here, I'm just gonna grab whatever's left and just pull them out. This one just a few tail feathers. You want to give me 1 second there and I'll show we're getting cut. Another thing you should keep around too is some rags. You're definitely going to be washing your hands quite a bit. This is going to be your butchering process. So I've never done it before. I'm going to have him explain and show what happens.
I'm going to take them here and cut them above the vent there. And open them up. You don't want to cut around everything inside. It'll all come out together.
And up to the neck.
Yep.
This is where you want a good sharp knife. This is where it gets real hands in. Some people, I guess, would use a lot of this too, right? Chicken liver, chicken heart. We are not going to. We'll use it as compost and use it in the garden. I noticed the plucker does beat up the skin a little bit.
Yeah.
But I will take that over having to spend that much more time trying to pluck them. You just want to make sure you clean out the body cavity really good. The lungs, that's the hardest to get, isn't it? It's right in the rib, like right in the cavity. Sometimes you may actually have to get a knife and dig fairly deep for that.
The legs, you bend them back like that, kind of in the middle.
You can feel too, like there is a noticeable, I have cut the legs off. You can definitely tell where you need to cut when you just start kind of putting your knife in. Cleaning them off is gonna be actually have just 2 of them done, so we just have them on the ice. We'll keep adding them in, keep topping them off with ice. So it is good to do a little spray off every time you do a couple of chickens. Just keeps it cleaner and easier to work with. You can spray those down. The water temperature when I last checked only went down to about 10 degrees, say. Just keep checking on that. Yeah, so that is basically the start to the finish. We're gonna pause the video here. We're going to get the rest of the chickens done, and then we'll show you the freezer full. And we're going to show you this one here. We just decided to do chicken breast instead. A little bit of grass.
Had a broken wing, it looked gross.
Didn't look good. Yeah, we're not sure what happened with the broken wing there, if it flailed around in the cone.
It wasn't from just now.
Okay. So yeah, I guess had an old injury, so we said didn't really want to chance it just in case, so we just cut out the chicken breast. We'll just clean those up and put them in the freezer. We're gonna show you how to do, we're gonna call this like a quick butcher, I guess. So we were talking about it, we really only eat the chicken breasts and sometimes maybe the drumsticks. So we figured instead of gutting them and cleaning them and taking all the time, we just throw them in the plucker. And we're just gonna try here to see if we can kind of get what we want minimally. Now I'm sure a lot of people would say it's a waste, but we were discussing that, and it's one of those things, we just don't eat it when it's cooked anyway, so at that point it's just going back to the compost. So we might as well save ourselves the time when we're processing them. It's going pretty good.
Yep.
Are you like a professional at this or what? No, you're doing pretty good. You're doing really good, actually. Like, you can feel where you want to cut, can't you?
Well, let's see.
We were talking about it earlier, and I was saying, like, I know when you cut the legs off, you can tell the point you want to cut. So we were kind of hoping that the legs and thighs were like that, but we weren't sure. We're just kind of trying it as we go. Skinning them and everything, getting fancy. So for us, like, this seems a bit better. Well, for me, because I'm not doing anything, I suppose, but at least you're not.
It's no worse.
And you're not up there pulling the guts and scraping lungs.
I find it hard to get the lungs and stuff out sometimes.
Yeah, and we're a little, like, that kind of grosses us out, because it was definitely specified a few times to get lungs out, right? Like in videos we were watching, so it seemed important. But yeah, like, there's not a whole, like, I don't think we're losing a whole lot of meat there. And then now you can just cut along the breastbone there and get your chicken breast. Getting the good cuts is probably like the hardest thing. You'll have to work on it. I feel like we got better since last year.
Yeah, you just gotta cut along the lines, basically.
Sharp knife is definitely key. We're probably at the point of the day too, it's about time to sharpen the knife, do a quick little cleanup. Yeah, there, like, there's our 2 legs and thighs, our 1 breast already. Doing it this way too, even though we did have the plucker, it made it a little bit easier. I guess if you don't have a plucker, you'd only have to do really the legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Let us know what you think, if it's worth doing it that way, or if you should just do them as a whole chicken. We just got finished up there before the rain started. All of the chicken is inside the cooler here. I'm going to add some ice to that, and we're going to leave it overnight for, well, probably till the morning, just shy of 24 hours there. So just cover all that, add some water, and we will pick it up tomorrow when we're going to bag it and freeze it. So I just want to say sorry, guys. I was going to show the whole process of actually cleaning the chickens in that and packing them away, but I ended up getting tied up that day, did it really late at night, and just really wasn't feeling up to doing the video. It's pretty simple though. Once you take them in from the freezer, just take them into the house or a nice big sink. I cleaned them up again with some good cold water, patted them down to dry. Once they're dried there, we just simply package them on like a styrofoam tray that we got from a friend of ours who has a meat shop in town. He was good enough to give us some supplies there. Then we just put them in, covered them with like a plastic bag. Same thing like with the grocery stores have the chickens in. And yeah, then we're ready for the freezer. So I'll just take you over to our freezer and show you what we end up getting. Don't worry about how disorganized it is, but this is what our chickens end up looking like. So like I said, I just put everything on trays and wrap them up. So all our chicken breasts are there, our legs and thighs here, some whole chickens, and some more whole chickens down the bottom. So pretty simple, start to finish. It's going to be a few hours, and then the biggest part is just waiting for them overnight. So hopefully that helps if you're processing your own chickens, and we want to thank you for subscribing to our channel. Leave us a comment and like this video.